Internet. This is VO1JQB here, bringing you a little bit something different than the usual typical ham radio stuff today. This is a review of every single everyday carry knife that I've ever had in the history of ever. Going all the way back to 2008 and ending with now. I came across all these knives actually in a box as I was moving houses. For those of you who don't know, I recently just moved again. That's part of the reason uploads will slow down a bit. But I found all these knives and I decided, you know what, I may as well do an everyday carry review. So here we go.
Are we crazy?
Yeah, I think we're a little nuts. So that's what your antenna analyzer sounds like. That's the actual SWR. I guess we'll start on this side as the oldest and work our way forward to the newest piece of kit I have. Well, new old stock, I guess. But and then we get a little bonus at the end. So starting off, we got this Leatherman here. I'm working from behind the camera, so hopefully this is acceptable footage for you. It's a K&D Pratt branded Leatherman here. And I have used this, well, I used it from 2008 to 2010, give or take, and a little bit thereafter. There we go. It's still got some wear and tear, grime on it and stuff. But basically, this was given to me by my father as sort of my first knife, sort of say. It's a fantastic piece of kit, and I mean, it's done absolutely everything I need it to. It's got the pliers with a bit of spring back there. The spring's after getting kind of loose, but it's got half-decent jaws there, as you can see. Focus, focus, focus. No, focus on the knife. There we go. So it's got half-decent jaws on them. It's got a couple tools in here, you know, your typical screwdrivers and stuff. You got one big Phillips there, and your flats and stuff there. With the option to stick more tools in the sides if you so desire, I think. On the back sides here, can opener, stuff like that, beer bottle opener, wine cork, and your knife itself. This knife is quite dirty, but you know, it still does its job. Not very sharp anymore, but I think I'm going to sharpen all these knives back up one of these days. So that's that one. That's the first one. And from 2010 to 2012, I got this one. And the reason I switched to this one, it's pretty friggin' stupid, because it's got a pair of scissors inside. That's the only reason. The name is spelled wrong, but I just pretend that doesn't exist. I'm after gluing this side on a couple times. Excuse me. After gluing this side on a couple times. And it's got, it's got a key ring. Carried it on my keys for a bit. It's got your typical stuff, screwdriver, can opener, bottle opener, all that fun stuff. The tools are a bit of a pain to get out, but I mean, you can see there's a small little blade there. That's a file, and then you got whatever that's supposed to be there, something for nets, I think. The back side here, got your knife. Oh, geez, I'm going to have a hard time getting those out, aren't I? Let's see here. Got whatever that's supposed to be. It isn't really a saw, but it's something. Oh man, these are in there pretty good. Can opener, something else opener, pair of scissors, and that's your saw there, as you can see the teeth in the bottom there. So I used this from 2010 to 2012. Got it from a friend. And the reason I switched is because I wanted a bigger blade. So that's when I came to this one. This here is I don't know what the brand of the knife is, but I know it's from the Baffin Fisheries Coalition. I got this off another friend. It's not a bad knife as far as knives go. As you can see, it's seen better days, and I was just using it to cut some duct tape. But it's seen better days. It's still kind of sharp, not too crazy. I wouldn't go trying to do anything serious with it. As you can tell, it's still a bit of sharp. I really liked it because I had the clip on the back of it. So I used to just clip that onto my keys or clip that onto my jacket, whatever, and off I went with it. So not a bad knife. It's a little stiff to open and close these days, but hey, that's what happens with age. So that was from 2012 to 2013, and a lot of what I used it for was rope work, actually. And then I switched to this one here. This here, as you can tell, it's not assisted or anything, but I mean, it's got a half decent flick when it was new. There we go. It's an Olympia knife, U.S. Army branded, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff. It's nothing too crazy. Pocket clip, so I clipped it on my jacket. This was used from 2013 to 2014. I bought it from a pawn shop, and another one of the reasons I bought it is because of the sharpness factor, and it's still razor sharp apparently. Well, not razor sharp, but it's got a half decent edge on it. I bought it for the sharpness because back in these days I didn't know how to sharpen my own knives, so I didn't really attempt it. As you can see, I'm after losing a backplate to it, but that's all right. It still does its job. And this is the knife I actually learned to sharpen on. That's why it's got a bit of a nice edge going right now. So that's that one. From 2014 to 2014 and a half, I guess you could say, I was using this knife. And this knife here is just a simple buck knife. But I was given this by my uncle before he passed away. And when he passed away, I retired it, so it didn't really see much use. It's still got a factory edge on it and everything. It's a little bit dirty, but that's just because of where it's been sitting. I got to get all these things on proper display at some point. But yeah, it's nothing too crazy, as you can see here. Plastic and everything, but the belt clip's nice. So I used that for a bit, and when I retired it, I then switched to probably one of my favorite everyday carry knives. The CRKT, what's this one called? The Arcane. This knife here, you've seen it before, I think. It has served me well over the years. As you can tell, it's quite beat up and damaged. Pocket clips after breaking off. There's a lot of damage done to the seatbelt cutter, which I'll get into in a minute. And the blade's chipped, and oh man, this knife has seen better days. But I use this from 2014 to 2016, and it's pretty fantastic. It's not assisted opening, but it's got a pretty nice flick on it. As you can see there, the blade has also seen better days, but that's because once I retired this knife, I actually use it for stripping copper. So this is my main copper stripping knife because I can put the piece of copper in there and just go right along it, no problem. As you can see here, the belt clip is reversible for right-handed, left-handed. It's a fantastic knife to use. I can't even put words into how fantastic this knife has been to use. The tip cracked off, but that was kind of a blessing in disguise because it's great for flathead screws. It's got just enough of a point on there I can use for flathead screws and such. This part of the blade here is fantastic for just like pushing down on stuff like that. Cutting, it does fantastic. Rope cutter, seatbelt cutter, whatever you want to use it for. It was great for just slicing right through rope. It really was a nice knife. And with the belt clip, it just clipped right onto my side, and off I went with it. So, if I didn't get this next one, I would still be using this more than likely today. I would have got a new belt clip, and yeah. And the final knife that I have for my everyday carry is this. It's not so much of a knife, more than a multi-tool. It's the Gerber Multiplier. Now, I got this back in 2016, and I got it as a part of my military kit, but everybody wears these everywhere. It's a really nice piece of gear, I gotta say. It hasn't failed me yet. It's one-handed flip out with the pliers there, so you can, flip it out if you're doing wiring or something like that. It's pretty easy to fold up. Comes out if I wasn't worried about swinging into the wall here. I usually flick it down from my side, just like that. There we go. It's got no spring-assisted opening or closing, but I'm completely fine with that. The jaws have been through absolute hell. I've cut everything up to nails with this thing, and as you can see, they're still pretty clean. as far as jaws go. There's no real serious nicks and cracks in them. Now up here, these ones are starting to get a little bit worn, but I just need to take a file and clean those out. I'm due for a replacement, really, but this knife, for the years I've been using it, hasn't failed me. These are starting to get a little high, but I mean, let's go over it here. So we got 3 inches measurement on the side here. We've got up to 8 centimeters on this side. Of course, the labeling there. It's got locking tools. So when you open it up here, you got your knife, which I keep extremely sharp. You can see it glinting there. I keep that knife really, really sharp because it has many uses, but you can see it's locked in. Doesn't matter how hard I push on it until I fold that, and it folds right up. So it's got your knife, your 3 flats in here, and your file. And on the other side, you can see we got our can opener / bottle opener. You got your screwdriver. I'm pretty sure that's so you can stick a piece of rope on it and clip it to your side or whatever. I don't use it. And you got your saw here. I don't really use this side a whole lot except for the Phillips head. But that's all the tools it has. It's pretty simple, but it does the job quite well, I gotta say. And it comes with a fancy carrying case, so before I forget, that just goes on the side, and we're good to go. Now, as a little bonus here, I want to talk to you about the knife I used in the woods for a number of years. This right here is, I don't even remember the brand of it now. Jeez, it's in rough shape. But typical Amazon $20 knife, and I wasn't expecting much when I first bought this knife, really, at all. But I was quite impressed when I got it and started using it. As you can tell, it's been extensively used and extensively sharpened, etc., etc. So when I'd go into the woods, I'd always have this attached to my hip. I wouldn't go into the woods without it. And, geez, this thing here, I built my first lean-to with this thing back before I even had an axe. I mean, you can take this thing, and once you hack into a tree, I mean, this spot right here just works perfect for biting in and going right through. Limbing and stuff like that up here, and of course you got the little saw here. It's not the best, but it does the job. Yeah, this thing here used for clearing brush, taking down trees, cutting rope, you name it. I cut steak with this thing back when it was clean. Cooking, the whole 9 yards I've used this thing for. It's got a compass on it, which is not accurate at all. But I mean, what do you expect from a? Is it accurate? Still trying to get my bearings in this new house. I think it's not bad, I don't think. Or maybe it was just the way I had the knife pointing, because that's not north. And that is more so north. But, so yeah, compass is kind of garbage. Don't rely on it. But what do you expect from a compass that's built into the handle of a knife? It's got a nice little string on here, so I used to just hang that off trees or whatever when it's not in the sheath. The edge back here, you could use it for breaking glass, but I wouldn't recommend it, because that's what happens. It breaks. It's just a little plastic handguard, but it does the job. So, yeah, this is a fantastic knife I used to use in the woods. Like I said, $20 from Amazon, and I used it up until last year when I bought a K-bar when I was in Pearl Harbor. And I've been using that while I was in the woods. So yeah, that's my collection of everyday carry knives from 2008 onwards up until present. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys like to see more content like this, I got plenty more knives I can go over. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. 7-3.